Welcome to Mythos AI, your source for Cliff's Notes on complex subjects. Join Anna and Phil for yet another engaging conversation.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at the evolution of romantic love.
Okay.
We're going to be drawing on this fascinating academic paper called The Evolution of Romantic Love, a Historical and Geographical Perspective.
Right.
And we'll be tracing how this concept of romantic love has changed across cultures and time. We'll be examining evidence from, like ancient Egyptian love poems to the complexities of AI companions.
Yeah, it's a fascinating journey. It really reveals how romantic love has been shaped by societal norms, literature, and even technology.
So let's start with ancient civilizations.
Okay.
It's common to assume that arranged marriages were the only form of union in these societies.
Right.
But our source material suggests that romantic love had a presence even then.
That's right. While arranged marriages driven by social and economic considerations were certainly the norm in ancient Egypt, Greece, and India, there's evidence suggesting that romantic love wasn't entirely absent.
For example, the paper mentions Egyptian love poems from the New Kingdom period. What can these poems tell us about the presence of romantic love in ancient Egypt?
Well, these poems, preserved on papyrus scrolls, offer a glimpse into a society that celebrated affection and desire. They frequently use nature imagery comparing the beloved's beauty to flowers, birds, or even the Nile River. This suggests that romantic feelings were recognized and expressed even if they weren't the primary basis for marriage.
So it seems that while practicality guided marital unions, there was still space for the expression of romantic love.
Yes, and this complexity is further demonstrated in ancient Greece. The Greeks had multiple words for love, indicating a nuanced understanding of this emotion.
Can you elaborate on these different types of love and what they reveal about the Greek perspective?
Certainly. Eros represented passionate, intense desire, often linked to physical attraction. Philia referred to deep friendship and affectionate regard. Agape embodied selfless, unconditional love, often associated with the divine. Additionally, Ludus represented playful love, involving flirtation and casual affairs, and Pragma referred to a practical form of love based on reason and long-term compatibility.
It's fascinating that the ancient Greeks recognized love as not a singular emotion, but a spectrum encompassing various forms of affection and connection.
Their literature and mythology further reflect this understanding. The story of Helen and Paris, whose passionate love affair triggered the Trojan War, exemplifies how the Greeks recognized the power of love, both for good and for ill.
Despite their nuanced understanding of love, it appears that Greek marriages, like those in Egypt, were primarily arranged for social and economic reasons.
That's correct. Even with their multifaceted concept of love, romantic love wasn't a prerequisite for marriage in ancient Greece. Women had limited autonomy in these matters. This highlights the complex interplay between societal structures and individual emotions in shaping the experience of love.
Now let's shift our focus to ancient India. How did this civilization perceive and express romantic love?
In ancient India, love was deeply intertwined with spirituality and philosophy. The concept of kama, representing desire, love, and sensual pleasure, was considered one of the four goals of human life. It stood alongside dharma, duty, artha, prosperity, and moksha, liberation.
So they saw love as an integral part of a fulfilling life, alongside fulfilling one's duty and achieving material and spiritual well-being.
Precisely. This holistic view of life is reflected in the Kama Sutra, a text often misconstrued as solely a sex manual. It actually delves into the emotional, psychological, and social aspects of love and relationships, offering guidance on courtship, seduction, and maintaining fulfilling relationships both within and outside of marriage.
So the Kama Sutra was more like a comprehensive guide to navigating the complexities of love and relationships, reflecting a multifaceted understanding of love in ancient India.
Yes, and while arranged marriages were the norm in ancient India, aiming to maintain social order, fulfill religious duties, and ensure family lineage, various cultural expressions like folk tales and songs celebrated love and longing. This indicates that people yearned for and experienced romantic love, even if societal norms dictated a different path for marriage.
It's interesting to see this recurring theme in ancient civilizations, the tension between societal expectations surrounding marriage and the individual desire for romantic love.
Indeed, this tension is something we'll see play out in various forms as we continue our exploration of romantic love throughout history. Now let's transition to medieval Europe and the intriguing phenomenon of courtly love.
What was courtly love, and how did it differ from the concepts of love we've discussed so far?
Courtly love, or amour courtois in French, emerged in 12th century France and spread throughout Europe. It was a cultural phenomenon primarily associated with the aristocracy and the chivalric code of conduct, representing an idealized form of love practiced within elite circles.
So courtly love was more of an aristocratic ideal than a reflection of common people's experiences with love.
Yes, and it involves specific rules and rituals, often expressed through poetry, songs, and symbolic gestures. One of its key elements was the adoration of a lady, typically a noblewoman of higher social standing and already married.
That makes the object of affection unattainable, adding another layer of complexity to this form of love.
Precisely. The secrecy and unattainability of the love added to its allure. The knight's love, often unrequited or kept secret, fueled his devotion and inspired him to perform noble deeds, embodying the chivalric ideals of courage and courtesy.
So courtly love wasn't just about romantic feelings, but also about inspiring chivalrous behavior and elevating both the knight and the lady involved.
Exactly. It promoted ideals of honor, courtesy, and refined behavior, influencing the way the aristocracy interacted with each other and with those of lower social standing. Courtly love had a significant impact on the development of social codes and manners among the nobility.
What are some of the most famous literary examples that explored this concept of courtly love?
The works of troubadours, poet-musicians who composed and performed lyrical poetry about love and chivalry, offer great insight into courtly love. Two prominent figures were Bernard de Ventadorn and Guillaume the X of Aquitaine, whose poems celebrated this idealized form of love.
Were there other key figures who contributed to the development and understanding of courtly love?
Certainly. Andreas Capellanus, author of De Amore, The Art of Courtly Love, outlined the rules and philosophy of courtly love, providing a guide for aspiring lovers. Chrétien de Troyes, a significant figure in Arthurian literature, also explored themes of chivalric love in his works, notably introducing the character of Lancelot and his love for Queen Guinevere, a classic example of courtly love's central themes.
And of course, we can't forget the enduring legend of Tristan and Isolde, a story that seems to capture the essence of courtly love's central conflict.
Indeed. The legend of Tristan and Isolde highlights the tension between passionate love and societal duty. Their love, ignited by a love potion and therefore forbidden, leads to a series of deceptions and conflicts, ultimately ending in tragedy. It's a classic tale of forbidden love, reminding us that romantic love doesn't always exist within the confines of societal expectations.
The enduring popularity of their story speaks to the timeless fascination with the themes of fate, duty, and the consequences of following one's heart, even if it means defying social conventions.
Absolutely. It exemplifies how courtly love, despite being an idealized concept, grappled with real human emotions and the challenges of reconciling personal desires with societal expectations.
The transition from the medieval period to the Renaissance and Enlightenment marked a significant shift in how love was perceived and experienced. How did these periods contribute to the evolution of romantic love?
The Renaissance, with its emphasis on human emotion and experience, and the Enlightenment, with its focus on reason and individual choice, brought new perspectives to love and relationships.
Can you elaborate on how these intellectual and cultural movements influence the understanding of love?
Certainly. During the Renaissance, we see a shift away from the purely religious themes that dominated medieval literature towards a more humanistic perspective. Francesco Petrarch, an Italian scholar and poet considered the father of humanism, exemplifies this shift. His unrequited love for a woman named Laura became the central theme of his poetry collection, Il Canzoniere, the songbook.
Petrarch's work seems to mark a turning point in how love was expressed and understood. What were the key elements of his approach to love that distinguished it from earlier periods?
Petrarch's poetry was deeply personal and emotional, reflecting a renewed focus on the inner life and the complexities of human experience. He explored the nuances of love, the joy, longing, frustration, and the bittersweet awareness of time's passage in a way that resonated with readers and set a new standard for love poetry.
His sonnets not only popularized the sonnet form, but also highlighted a different aspect of love: its ability to inspire moral and intellectual growth, even when unfulfilled. This seems to elevate love to a higher plane, emphasizing its potential to shape the individual.
Precisely. Petrarch's work helped to redefine the understanding of love, moving away from the purely external focus of courtly love towards a more internal and transformative experience.
Of course, we can't discuss the evolution of love without mentioning William Shakespeare, whose works explored human emotions, including love, with unparalleled depth and complexity. How did Shakespeare contribute to our understanding of love?
Shakespeare's genius lies in his ability to portray love in all its multifaceted glory. He didn't shy away from portraying the darker sides of love, like jealousy and betrayal, as we see in Othello. He explored various forms of love, from the passionate tragedy of Romeo and Juliet to the witty banter and eventual love match of Beatrice and Benedick in Much Ado About Nothing.
His characters are incredibly relatable, even centuries later. What was it about Shakespeare's portrayal of love that makes it so enduring?
Shakespeare's characters were not idealized figures. They were complex individuals with both noble qualities and human flaws. He showed that love could inspire both great acts of selflessness and terrible acts of cruelty, reflecting the inherent contradictions within human nature. His plays often highlighted the clash between individual desires and societal expectations, a recurring theme in our exploration of love across different eras.
Shakespeare recognized that love doesn't always fit neatly within the boundaries set by society. His characters often challenged societal norms, highlighting the tensions between personal happiness and duty, a theme that continues to resonate with us today.
Indeed. Shakespeare's insights into the human condition, particularly the complexities of love and relationships, transcend time and culture.
Moving on to the Enlightenment, this period placed a strong emphasis on reason and individual autonomy. How did this intellectual shift impact the understanding of love and marriage?
The Enlightenment brought a new perspective to love and marriage, challenging the traditional view of marriage as primarily a social and economic contract. Thinkers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau advocated for love-based marriages, arguing that individuals should choose their partners based on mutual affection and understanding, not simply societal pressure or economic convenience.
So there was a growing emphasis on personal fulfillment and happiness in marriage, a significant departure from the prevailing views of previous eras.
Precisely. Rousseau believed that individual happiness was essential and that choosing a partner based on love was crucial for achieving this happiness.
Did this shift in thinking have any practical impact on how people approached marriage?
While the Enlightenment's impact was gradual, it did contribute to changing attitudes towards love and marriage. Rousseau's ideas, along with those of other Enlightenment thinkers, helped pave the way for greater individual choice and the pursuit of emotional fulfillment in relationships.
It was a slow but significant step towards the modern concept of love as a central aspect of marriage.
Exactly. The Enlightenment planted the seeds for a more individualistic approach to love and relationships, setting the stage for further transformations in the centuries to come.
Speaking of challenging norms, Jane Austen comes to mind. Her novels provide a fascinating glimpse into the evolving landscape of love and marriage during this period. What made her perspective on love and marriage so compelling?
Jane Austen masterfully satirized the societal norms surrounding love and marriage in her novels. While focusing on the lives of the gentry, she skillfully critiqued the pressures women faced to marry for social and economic advantage. Her heroines are intelligent, independent, and discerning. They challenge the expectations of their time, demonstrating that women are capable of making their own choices, especially when it comes to love.
Pride and Prejudice, in particular, seems to embody this challenge to societal norms. Elizabeth Bennet, the protagonist, defies the pressure to marry for wealth or status, ultimately choosing love and compatibility. It's a classic story that speaks to the enduring desire for love based on genuine connection rather than social pressure.
Yes, Pride and Prejudice is a powerful example of Austen's critique of societal norms around marriage. She cleverly exposed the absurdities of class consciousness, gender roles, and the often hypocritical nature of social interactions.
Her novels are still widely read and loved today. What explains their enduring appeal?
Austen's sharp wit and keen observations made her novels both entertaining and insightful commentaries on the society she lived in. Her work continues to resonate with readers because it speaks to universal truths about love, societal expectations, and the pursuit of happiness.
Now, let's shift our focus to the Romantic era, a period that seems to have had a profound impact on our modern understanding of love. What were some of the key characteristics of this era that influenced how love was perceived and expressed?
Romanticism, emerging as a reaction against the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason and rationality, sought to reclaim the power of emotion, imagination, and intuition. This shift had a significant impact on how love was understood and portrayed in art, literature, and culture.
So it was a movement away from the more restrained and rational views of love toward the more passionate and expressive understanding.
Precisely. Romantics believed that love was a powerful, even transcendent force, capable of elevating the human spirit and connecting us to something larger than ourselves. They saw love as a source of inspiration, creativity, and deep emotional experience.
Were there any particular figures or works that exemplified these romantic ideals of love?
Certainly. German Romanticism offers a key figure and work that encapsulate this shift. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe and his novel The Sorrows of Young Werther, published in 1774.
The title itself suggests a deep dive into the emotional turmoil that love can bring. What was it about this novel that captured the essence of the romantic sensibility?
The Sorrows of Young Werther tells the story of a young artist named Werther who falls deeply in love with Lotte, a woman who is already engaged. Consumed by unrequited love and a sense of isolation, Werther's emotional turmoil ultimately leads to tragedy.
So it's a tale of unrequited love, despair, and the consequences of unchecked emotion.
Exactly. The novel resonated deeply with readers across Europe, sparking a cultural phenomenon known as Werther fever. Young people adopted Werther's clothing style and emulated his emotional intensity. It also generated controversy due to its depiction of suicide, which some feared would inspire copycat acts.
It seems like the novel tapped into something profound within the human psyche, this capacity for intense emotional experience and the potential for both joy and despair that love can bring.
Precisely. The Sorrows of Young Werther highlighted the romantic emphasis on the power of individual feeling and the potential for love to both elevate and destroy.
Moving beyond Goethe, romantic poetry flourished during this era, with poets like Lord Byron, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and John Keats becoming cultural icons. What themes did they explore in their poetry that contributed to the romantic understanding of love?
They often depicted love as a sublime force, capable of transporting individuals to new heights of experience. Nature played a significant role in their poetry, serving as both a mirror and a catalyst for emotional states. Their works often reflected a deep appreciation for beauty, a sense of melancholy, and an awareness of the impermanence of life, which heightened the intensity of their emotional expressions.
So for these poets, love wasn't just about romantic feelings, but also a way to connect with something larger than oneself, a source of inspiration and a path to transcendence.
Exactly. Their poetry celebrated the power of love to transform individuals, elevate the human spirit, and provide solace in the face of life's challenges.
Could you provide specific examples of how these poets explored the theme of love in their work?
Of course. Lord Byron, known for his passionate and rebellious nature, often depicted love as a tumultuous force. His poems explored themes of unrequited love, forbidden romance, and the allure of the unattainable. His iconic Byronic hero became a cultural archetype, embodying the romantic ideal of a brooding, passionate, and unconventional lover.
That sounds very much in line with the themes we saw in Courtly Love, this idea of a passionate, even tormented individual driven by love.
Yes, there are definite echoes of courtly love in Byron's work, though with a distinctly modern sensibility that emphasized individual freedom and the rejection of societal constraints.
What about Shelley? How did his poetry contribute to the romantic understanding of love?
Percy Bysshe Shelley was an idealist and a revolutionary, and his poetry reflected his belief in the transformative power of love. He saw love as a force for positive change, both within individuals and in society as a whole.
So for Shelley, love wasn't just a personal experience, but also a potential catalyst for social progress.
Precisely. His poems often celebrated the ideal of love as a unifying and liberating force, capable of breaking down barriers and inspiring a more just and compassionate world.
And what about John Keats? What made his approach to love unique?
John Keats, known for his exquisite use of language and imagery, explored the beauty and transience of life, often infusing his poems with a sense of longing and melancholy. He saw love as a source of both intense joy and profound sorrow, inseparable from the awareness of life's fleeting nature.
It sounds like Keats captured the bittersweet essence of love, this awareness that something so beautiful is also inherently fragile and finite.
Yes, his poems are filled with sensual imagery and a deep appreciation for the fleeting moments of beauty and connection that love offers, a perspective that resonated deeply with the romantic sensibility.
It's remarkable how these romantic poets, despite their unique styles and perspectives, all contributed to a richer and more nuanced understanding of love.
Indeed. They help to elevate love to a central theme in art and literature, shaping our cultural perceptions and continuing to influence how we experience and express love today.
And now let's shift our focus to the East. How did Eastern cultures, particularly China and Japan, approach love and relationships during this period?
While the Romantic movement originated in Europe, Eastern cultures had their own rich traditions and philosophies regarding love. Let's begin with China, where Confucian values of harmony, filial piety, and social order heavily influenced the understanding of love and marriage.
So in China, family and societal harmony took precedence over individual desires.
Yes, traditional Chinese society placed great emphasis on maintaining social order and fulfilling familial obligations. Arranged marriages were the norm, designed to strengthen family ties and ensure the continuation of lineage.
But did that mean romantic love had no place in Chinese culture?
Not necessarily. While arranged marriages were the standard, literature and opera often explored the tensions between individual desires and societal expectations. Works like The Peony Pavilion, a classic Chinese opera, celebrated the power of love to transcend even death, challenging conventional morality and highlighting the importance of personal fulfillment.
So even within a system that prioritized duty and social harmony, there was a recognition of the power of love and the yearning for individual happiness.
Exactly. Chinese culture, while emphasizing collective responsibility, also acknowledged the complexity of human emotions and the enduring appeal of romantic love.
Now, what about Japan? How did their cultural values shape their understanding of love?
Japanese culture, influenced by Shinto and Buddhist beliefs, also placed a high value on harmony, tradition, and social order. However, Japanese literature, particularly during the Heian period, 794–1185, offers fascinating insights into the nuances of love and relationships within the context of courtly life.
What work best exemplifies this exploration of love within the Heian court?
The Tale of Genji, written by Murasaki Shikibu in the early 11th century, is considered a masterpiece of Japanese literature and provides a window into the refined world of courtly love during the Heian period.
What themes did the Tale of Genji explore?
It chronicles the life and romantic escapades of Prince Genji, a man known for his charm and attractiveness. The story delves into the complexities of love, loss, beauty, and the fleeting nature of life, reflecting Buddhist influences and the Heian court's emphasis on aesthetic refinement.
It sounds like the Tale of Genji offered a glimpse into a world where beauty, art, and emotional expression played significant roles in shaping the experience of love.
Precisely. The Heian court was known for its highly cultivated aesthetic sensibility, and this permeated their approach to love and relationships. Courtship often involved the exchange of poetry, clandestine meetings, and adherence to elaborate social etiquette.
It seems like a very refined and ritualistic approach to love compared to the more passionate and unrestrained ideals of the European romantics.
Yes, there are definitely stylistic and cultural differences. However, both traditions acknowledge the complexity of love, its power to inspire and transform, and its ability to both elevate and challenge societal norms.
That's a great point. So despite their cultural differences, both Eastern and Western societies during this period grappled with the tension between individual desires and societal expectations, recognizing the enduring power of love to shape human experience.
Absolutely. And this tension continues to inform our understanding of love today as we navigate a world where individual expression and cultural traditions constantly intersect and reshape one another.
As we move into the modern era, we encounter a period marked by social conservatism and strict moral codes, the Victorian era. How did this era, with its emphasis on duty and propriety, impact the understanding of love and marriage?
Well, the Victorian era, spanning from 1837 to 1901, presented a stark contrast to the Romantic period that preceded it. This era was characterized by rigid social hierarchies and a strong emphasis on duty and propriety, particularly for women. Marriage was viewed as a sacred institution, but one heavily intertwined with social and economic considerations.
So it seems like a period of conflicting ideals, with the growing desire for love-based marriages clashing with the prevailing social norms that emphasize duty and pragmatism.
Yes, love, while increasingly recognized as a desirable component of marriage, was often secondary to factors like social standing, financial security, and the maintenance of family reputation.
How did Victorian literature reflect these tensions surrounding love and marriage?
Victorian novels often explored the complexities of love and marriage within the constraints of Victorian society. Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, published in 1847, is a classic example. It tells the story of Jane, an independent and strong-willed woman who falls in love with her employer, Mr. Rochester. Their love is challenged by social conventions and secrets from his past.
It seems that Jane Eyre embodies this conflict between individual desires and societal expectations that we've seen throughout history. What makes Jane's story so compelling, and how did it challenge Victorian norms?
Jane, despite her love for Rochester, refuses to compromise her self-respect and moral principles. She rejects his proposal when she discovers he is already married, even though it means giving up a life of comfort and security. The novel challenged Victorian notions of gender roles and emphasized the importance of individual integrity and equality within relationships.
Were there other Victorian novels that offered similar critiques of societal norms around love and marriage?
Certainly. Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, published the same year as Jane Eyre, offered a more gothic and passionate exploration of love, delving into themes of obsession, revenge, and the destructive power of societal constraints.
And what about George Eliot? How did her work contribute to this literary conversation about love and society?
George Eliot, the pen name of Marian Evans, was a prominent Victorian novelist known for her insightful portrayals of social dynamics and human psychology. Her novel Middlemarch, published in 1871, offers a nuanced examination of love, marriage, and social ambition within a provincial English town. The novel explores how individual choices and desires are shaped by the social fabric in which they are embedded.
It sounds like Eliot's work, along with that of the Bronte sisters, reflects a growing awareness of the complexities of love and relationships, moving away from idealized romantic notions towards a more realistic understanding of how social forces and individual aspirations intertwine.
Indeed, their work reflects the changing landscape of love and relationships during the Victorian era, a time when traditional values were being challenged by new ideas and social transformations.
As we move into the 20th century, we encounter a period of unprecedented social and cultural upheaval. How do the dramatic changes of this era impact our understanding of love?
The 20th century witnessed a series of cultural revolutions that profoundly altered our understanding of love, relationships, and gender roles. The rise of feminism, the sexual revolution, and the increasing emphasis on individual fulfillment transformed the landscape of love and intimacy.
These movements challenged traditional power structures and societal norms, leading to a redefinition of individual roles and expectations within relationships. How did these changes specifically impact our understanding of love?
The 20th century brought a growing recognition of individual autonomy and the pursuit of personal happiness within relationships. Love-based marriages became the ideal, with compatibility, emotional connection, and shared values taking precedence over social or economic considerations.
So the emphasis shifted from duty and social obligation to individual fulfillment and the pursuit of a fulfilling partnership based on mutual love and respect.
Precisely. This shift was fueled by several factors, including the increasing economic independence of women, advancements in psychology that emphasized the importance of emotional and sexual compatibility in relationships, and legal reforms that granted individuals greater control over their personal lives.
It's fascinating how these social, economic, and legal changes intertwine to reshape the landscape of love and marriage.
Indeed. The 20th century also saw the rise of new forms of media that played a significant role in shaping our perceptions of love. Hollywood films, popular music, and later, television became powerful vehicles for disseminating romantic ideals and narratives, often presenting idealized and sometimes unrealistic portrayals of love.
It seems like the 20th century, with its rapid technological advancements and cultural shifts, marked a significant turning point in the evolution of love, setting the stage for the complexities and possibilities of the digital age.
Absolutely. The advent of the internet and the proliferation of digital technologies have revolutionized how we connect, communicate, and experience love in the 21st century.
Online dating has become a ubiquitous part of modern life, transforming how people meet and form relationships. What are some of the key ways that technology has shaped the landscape of love in the digital age?
Online dating platforms, from early websites like Match.com to mobile apps like Tinder and Bumble, have expanded the possibilities for finding romantic partners. They allow individuals to connect with others beyond their immediate social circles, transcending geographical boundaries and offering greater control over the search for love.
So technology has, in a sense, democratized the search for love, providing access to a wider pool of potential partners than ever before.
Exactly. It has also fostered a culture of choice and customization, allowing individuals to filter potential matches based on specific criteria and preferences. However, this increased choice can also lead to the paradox of choice, where an overwhelming number of options can make it difficult to commit or feel satisfied.
That's an interesting point. It seems like technology, while offering unprecedented opportunities for connection, also presents new challenges in navigating the complexities of love and relationships.
Indeed. Authenticity, commitment, and managing expectations become even more crucial in the digital age, where first impressions are often based on carefully curated online profiles, and instant communication can sometimes hinder the development of deeper connection.
Beyond online dating, what are some other ways technology is shaping our experiences of love?
Social media plays a significant role in how we perceive and express love in the digital age. Couples often share their relationships online, creating a public narrative of their love story. However, this constant documentation can also create pressure to present an idealized version of the relationship, potentially affecting self-esteem and relationship satisfaction.
It's like love in the digital age is constantly being performed and judged within a public arena, which can be both liberating and challenging.
Absolutely. Technology also enables us to maintain long-distance relationships more easily than ever before. Video calls, instant messaging, and social media allow couples to stay connected despite physical separation, making distance less of an obstacle to love.
So technology is reshaping the very definition of proximity and intimacy in the context of love. What are some other emerging trends in the digital age that are pushing the boundaries of how we understand love?
One fascinating development is the rise of virtual relationships and AI companions. Applications like Replica offer AI-powered chatbots that learn and adapt to users' personalities, providing companionship and emotional support.
It's intriguing to consider how these artificial companions are blurring the lines between human and non-human connection. What are some of the psychological and ethical implications of this trend?
AI companions offer potential benefits for individuals struggling with loneliness, social anxiety, or those simply seeking a different kind of connection. However, it raises important questions about the nature of intimacy, the ethics of developing emotional attachments to machines, and the potential for these technologies to exacerbate social isolation if they replace real-world human connection.
It's a complex and evolving landscape, with technology constantly redefining the boundaries of how we experience and express love. As we conclude our deep dive into the evolution of romantic love, what key insights can we take away from this exploration?
Romantic love has been a constant throughout human history, but its expression and the societal norms surrounding it have undergone significant transformations. From ancient arranged marriages to modern love matches fueled by algorithms, the pursuit of love reflects both our enduring human needs for connection and the ever-changing cultural context in which we live.
It seems that the tension between individual desires and societal expectations has been a recurring theme throughout our exploration, highlighting the constant negotiation between personal fulfillment and the constraints of social norms.
Absolutely. And as we've seen, literature and art have played a vital role in shaping how we understand and express love, often challenging those norms and reflecting the evolving values of different eras. The increasing emphasis on individual fulfillment and the recognition of diverse forms of love are also hallmarks of modern relationships.
As we look to the future, what direction do you see the evolution of love taking?
The future of love is likely to be shaped by ongoing technological advancements, changing social structures, and evolving cultural values. We can expect further blurring of the lines between physical and digital connection, the exploration of new relationship models, and ongoing conversations about the ethics and implications of technology on our intimate lives.
While the future of love may hold many unknowns, one thing remains certain. Love, in all its complexity and beauty, will continue to be a driving force in human experience. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the evolution of romantic love. We hope you found this exploration of love across cultures and time insightful.
Thanks for listening to Mythos AI. Stay tuned for more concise insights. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe for future episodes.